Blessings and namaste, everyone. I am spiritualist, psychic astrologer, and medium Sette. I am trusting everyone had a warm and wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. I'm recording this month's video while I am here at the mystical moon. It's the day after Thanksgiving. I am trusting everyone to enjoy the blessings and the bounty of the holiday, as well as embracing the understanding of remaining in that place of gratitude, incorporating gratitude in all our experiencing, incorporating gratitude in all that we experience, as well as welcoming and recognizing the blessings every day, and not only during one holiday once a year. You know, being in that place of gratitude, really embracing that understanding, certainly allows us to enjoy a much more fulfilling life. I'd like to begin this video by touching upon we have moved out of a Mercury retrograde phase. Mercury did move direct on November 20th. And I always inspire us to recognize that not until Mercury moves past the point that it moved retrograde that we are fully out of the retrograde influences and effects. And that point is December 7th. That's why I just wanted to slightly touch upon that element as we begin this video at the beginning of December. As I said, December 7th is the point that we've moved past moving the retrograde influences. And as I touched upon, I believe in the last video, this Mercury retrograde specifically connected with releasing fear. So many times we're being given opportunities to release fear, especially when we are being prepared for whatever might come next for us. And certainly December is filled with a surge of intense energies, especially because we have an eclipse coming on December 26th. I will touch upon that in a moment. And I always address how eclipses in and of themselves, they're neither negative nor positive. They are based upon all that we set in motion up until the eclipse point. The eclipse on December 26th is a new moon solar eclipse. It's not quite total eclipse because the moon is a little bit further away from the Earth, so it will not be completely total. However, the energies are very intense and concentrated at this solar eclipse, and as it is with many eclipses, some a little bit more concentrated, some a little bit more intensified than others. On December 2nd, Jupiter changes signs and it moves from Sagittarius to Capricorn. Jupiter cycles, complete Jupiter cycles remain or last for about 12 years. So Jupiter will transit each sign for about 12, 13 months. Sometimes it might be a little bit longer depending upon its retrograde phase. But Jupiter has moved out of Sagittarius, which is the sign of the higher mind, and into the sign of Capricorn. Capricorn, among many things, connects and represents our profession, long-term goals, but it also, as I understand it, also represents a greater purpose, a higher purpose. Just to touch upon Jupiter in Sagittarius, and you know, when the planets progress through the signs, it's very much an evolutionary process, an evolutionary cycle. As Jupiter was transiting the sign of Sagittarius, which is the sign of the higher mind, and also to the sign of inspiration, many times we can feel that surge of inspiration, spirit planting those seeds of inspiration in our minds, especially regarding our higher path and purpose. Also, the ideas, many ideas, because inspiration is very much a part of the Jupiter through Sagittarius, and Sagittarius, the sign of the higher mind, inspiration. Jupiter is Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter, is the sign that represents the philosopher, the spiritualist. So many ideas. The imagination is very much stimulated as Jupiter moves through Sagittarius, and once it progresses into the sign of Capricorn, it's time to implement all of that, especially regarding a higher path, a higher purpose. You see, so now as Jupiter is going into Capricorn, we are very much inspired to really move forward with whatever might be our path, purpose, and our destiny. And certainly this will apply more on a personal level, depending on where Jupiter is transiting your own astrological chart. Again, I'm just giving an overall umbrella understanding of these experiences, how they apply to us personally and specifically. We really have to look at the placement of the phenomena in our chart, but just to give you an understanding, and perhaps maybe stir up some energy for you, especially regarding your own path and purpose, especially as we approach the next eclipse season. We have our full moon in December on December 12th, and the exact time of the full moon is 12:11, actually, it's closer to 12:12 a.m. on December 12th. It's kind of interesting that December 12th, that 12:12 portal, that's an auspicious opportunity to receive much guidance from the spirit realm. That 12:12 portal, we often hear the significance of the number 12. I actually touch upon it and elaborate very much upon it during my book, The 12 Dimensions of the Human Potential. That 12:12 portal is an auspicious spiritual, highly spiritual opportunity, really to embrace something greater than sometimes we might imagine, especially regarding ourselves. And with this full moon on the 12:12 portal, actually at 12:12 a.m. on that date, certainly this is offering or presenting a pivotal turning point of our own personal spiritual growth and evolution. And the full moon at that time is actually at the highest point of the chart. The full moon is in the sign of Gemini, which is a sign of communication. So certainly the element of communications will very much be highlighted with this full moon. And this full moon is, as I said, it's at the highest point of the chart, actually in the 9th house, which the 9th house in the natural zodiac is actually the opposite sign of Gemini, which is Sagittarius, which, as I was referring to earlier, is ruled by Jupiter. And with the moon being placed in that 9th house, certainly higher forms of communication are very much highlighted at this time, specifically the media, radio, television. That's the sign, those are the elements of the 9th house. Now, Neptune is forming what I refer to as a creative and dynamic square, which is a 90-degree alignment to the moon as well as the sun. Many times, unless they are approached from a higher spiritual understanding and we are very much anchored, grounded, and clear within ourselves, Neptune influences can present the possibility of great confusion, misinformation. It can very much cloud clarity. However, once a Neptune aspect has passed, even though Neptune at times can bring great confusion, it can also offer profound clarity later on once what might seem to be negative influences have dissolved themselves. Whenever Neptune is present, we are inspired to go within. We can't look with the physical eyes for understanding especially from the outside world. We have to go within, because whenever there is a potential negative Neptune aspect, we're inspired to always go within, because any information in the outside world will present misinformation and great confusion. Remember, the clarity will come from within. And at this full moon, there can be very much a surge of much confusion and chaos, especially coming through conventional media in the outside world. That is only a ploy of the underworld to derail us and misguide us from really recognizing some of the blessings at hand, especially with the solar eclipse coming up on December 26th. Excuse me. As I said, these Neptune influences, it's an auspicious opportunity to go within. Remove yourself from the third dimensional experiences. Allow yourself to be very clear in your being, energetically clear from residue that sometimes we accumulate from our human experiences, and ground yourself with the energies of the earth. Very much dedicate time for prayer and meditation, because that's where we will receive the clarity. Also, whenever we desire to recognize or embrace clarity, especially regarding anything that might take place in the outside world, we need to remove ourselves from whatever we might believe it may actually be happening out there, and allow ourselves to receive the higher knowings and guidance from spirit. And when we do so, that fear element certainly continues to dissolve. This is also just to kind of reinforce the significance of releasing the fear, especially during the last Mercury retrograde phase, because in order for us to see all things clearly, we need to release the fear. You see, and as I said, all experiences are very much evolutionary. They are stages in terms of regarding our personal growth, development, and evolution. And we were being given the opportunity to release so much fear during that last Mercury retrograde, because, sometimes what unfolds in the outside world can certainly be very fearful, and create fear and generate fear and stimulate bedlam, pandemonium. However, all of that is really designed by some very sinister forces at keeping us from recognizing some of our greatest potential, our path, our purpose, our destiny, whatever it is that we are very passionate about, because it's all one in the same. Many times I discuss with clients how the moon in a chart does connect very much with emotions, whatever was established as a foundation in our lives, but also too, the moon element represents that which we are the most passionate about. And I always inspire us to recognize that our passion equals our purpose. It's all very much connected, you see. And overall, over the last, especially 12 years, many of us have been inspired, especially 12 years ago, to recognize whatever it is that we are very passionate about, because it does equal our purpose. And we're very much at a turning point in recognizing and embracing the continual evolution of our higher purpose. And this full moon coming up on December 12th, remember 12/12, that 12/12 portal is an auspicious spiritual opportunity for great growth and evolution. And it's also the opening up of a portal to receive much energy, spiritual energy from the cosmos. Many times you may have heard me referring to the galactic center. That's where many of us believe that a great, massive, supermassive black hole exists. And just as a black hole will envelop and bring in so much energy, it also emanates pure energy, which I observe that to be pure spirit energy. And that the point of where the point where the black hole exists, actually along the zodiac, is at the last degrees of Sagittarius, which Jupiter has been actually touching upon that point and really amplifying this spirit energy, this galactic cosmic energy coming to us to help assist us in moving forward on our spiritual path, growth, and very much so regarding the evolution of the entirety of humanity during these most unprecedented times. So what I was emphasizing again with this full moon, just allow yourself to be aware of the potential of misinformation that may present itself from the outside world. Also, too, as I was referring to that Neptune influence before, it's forming a 90-degree square alignment, which I emphasize as being creative and dynamic. Even though this energy may present somewhat seemingly negative influences, there's also something very positive, the blessing in disguise, if you will. Neptune surges creative energy. And as I said, when we're clear in our being, grounded with the energy of the earth, we can employ all that energy and channel it into something creative. That's what I emphasize with this as well, the creative outlet. And creativity, as I always address, is not limited, is infinite, is not restricted to only art and music. Creativity is multifaceted, multidimensional. So allow yourself to just channel this energy on a personal level into whatever creative expression you may have, and that is also very joyful for you as well. And also too, at the full moon, Jupiter forms a harmonic, what is referred to as a trine 120-degree alignment to Uranus. Uranus is the planet that brings us higher awareness, higher awakenings, higher understanding, and because of how it's aligning, Jupiter and Uranus are aligning, especially with Jupiter in Capricorn, it's continually fortifying this higher awakening of a greater purpose for so many of us during these most unprecedented times. And that alignment with Jupiter and Uranus, as I said, it's a 120-degree alignment. The symbol for that alignment is a triangle, and we always recognize, especially spiritually, how auspicious the triangle is, especially with connecting with higher purposes, higher understandings. Remember that the triangle points upward, so certainly that's pointing upward towards our higher self, higher understanding. This energy can be an energy that's referred to as an effortless ease alignment. It allows all things to flow very nicely, very naturally. But we also have to be aware of how it's all flowing, because sometimes it can potentially be a missed opportunity, and I said potentially be a missed opportunity, when we are not allowing ourselves to recognize with the blessings at hand. Sometimes this energy can present a situation that may feel as though it's too easy, and that's why we have to be careful that we don't miss an opportunity. As long as we have we're clear in our awareness, our energy field, our psychic faculties are very much in tuned, we certainly will be very aware of the blessings at hand. On December 21st at 12:19 p.m., and whenever I address specific times, they are Eastern times. I am in the Eastern time zone, so I will use that as a point of reference when I'm creating this information. December 21st, 11:19 p.m. The sun moves into the sign of Capricorn, which it's the winter solstice. The winter solstice, among many things, it is an auspicious opportunity actually to create abundance and set in motion the intention of abundance, certainly for the coming months as well as the coming year. I inspire us to really embrace maybe personal rituals, meditations, techniques, whatever that might be for you, to cast in motion your desire to create abundance. Many of us understand and recognize the blessings of actually lighting a bayberry candle at the exact moment of the winter solstice. Myself personally, I actually use 4 bayberry candles. I will light one, and they generally will, and I light the next one just before the first one exhausts itself. And generally those 4 candles will last through the Epiphany, which is on January 6th. We refer to that as Three Kings Day. This technique, and this is just something that is very personal for me, and I inspire always everyone to recognize and embrace whatever resonates with you on a more personal level. Those 4 candles for me will last through from the winter solstice on December 21st through January 6th. And I think that might also be where we have the understanding of those 12 days of Christmas. It might be a little bit more than 12 days, but you understand the significance of what I'm trying to just kind of touch upon right now. Also, too, when the sun goes into Capricorn, we celebrate, as we do through all beliefs during this time, the return to light. You know, the winter time is really spiritually and metaphysically not necessarily a time of darkness. It's a time for us to much more just to go within, to really cultivate the ground where we will be actually planting seeds, maybe later on in the winter and even in the spring time frame. It's a time of cultivation to prepare the soil. You see, before we plant seeds, we need to prepare the soil. And also the winter time frame is very much an auspicious opportunity, a blessed season to do just that. Also, I suggest for us to recognize how really the spring cleaning, we suggest to really conduct it in the winter time frame. So when the spring begins, you begin that season with a clean slate. So perhaps consider the spring cleaning, conducting it in the winter time frame, and allow yourself once again to just kind of like go within, clear out the cobwebs from within yourself as well. Also, the next topic that I'm going to be touching upon will be the December 26th solar eclipse, which the solar eclipse, it's a new moon. And I always touch upon the balsamic moon phase, which will begin on December 22nd at 8:33 a.m. As I always emphasize, the balsamic moon is the time of the dark moon. It's the opportunity for us to prepare for the next lunar cycle. And with a solar eclipse, just like we are given about 3 days to prepare for the next new moon cycle, which is month to month, many times we are inspired to actually prepare for the solar eclipse cycle for about actually 3 months beforehand, because whatever comes together at a solar eclipse, that energy stays in motion for longer periods of time, up to at least 6 months, and sometimes many years. So we always emphasize to prepare as adequately as you possibly can for a solar eclipse and all the energy that will be set in motion at that time. Because remember, whatever is around us at a solar eclipse, that will remain with us for a longer period of time. That's why we're given an opportunity to clear away whatever we would choose to not have with us for long periods of time. The solar eclipse, it is in the sign of Capricorn. It is in close proximity to Jupiter at that time. So once again, I'm just reiterating the significance of really recognizing a greater, higher purpose. And at the solar eclipse on December 26th, which is, it's kind of interesting, it's the day after the Christmas holiday, set in motion in whatever manner you would choose to do so that resonates with you, to set in motion the continual growth and evolution of your higher path and purpose. If you're already very much demonstrating that higher path and purpose, because certainly all our experiences are very much evolutionary and are represented by stages. However, if you haven't fully embraced your higher purpose, path, purpose, and destiny, cast the energy in motion at this solar eclipse to really embark upon that journey. Also, too, as I said, we are given opportunities to prepare for a solar eclipse, especially energetically. If there is anything that may be perceived as negative or not in alignment with our higher purpose and our higher self, we are given an opportunity to eliminate it and remove ourselves from it, so that energy is not set in stone, not cast within our being for a long period of time. And also, too, so that we set in motion some very positive, auspicious energy that is in alignment with who it is that we really are, and is very much in alignment with our higher self. Just to give you a couple of examples, at the time of a solar eclipse, at least the day before, the day of, and the day after, you don't want to pay bills. It is suggested to not withdraw money from bank accounts However, put money into bank accounts. Also, too, if you're in the process of discovering greater gainful employment at the solar eclipse, it's an auspicious opportunity to send out your resume at that time. You see how we work with, very much so, with the energy and all the blessings at hand. Also, too, as I said, and just to kind of once again reiterate, with the Mercury retrograde, it was certainly an opportunity to release fear. And as we move through these next few months, we may have experiences that may seem unsettling, that we will observe unfolding in the outer world. However, when we allow ourselves, as I said, to be clear in our being, grounded with the energy of the earth, no matter what may unfold in the outer world, we live in a place of trusting and knowing that we are okay no matter what. We have been given many opportunities to really apply our higher understanding, the energy of our mind, and to allow ourselves to be very anchored and rooted in our spiritual knowing, with whatever that might be for us personally, so that when the winds of change come along, we will bend. However, we will not break. And certainly some very strong winds might come along in these next few months, especially with this eclipse that we have coming up, as well as the January eclipse, which I will touch upon during my next video. I will share further information in writings through my forecast. I'm also creating an extended forecast for the first part of 2020 as well. I also inspire us to recognize that in the year 2020, just to use an analogy regarding clear vision, much clarity, 2020 will be given to us as we move through this next year. And I always suggest that we recognize, in order for us to receive that clarity, we have to remove our own ideas and perceptions of whatever might be the actual higher truth, and allow spirit to share with us its higher truth. We've got to move out of a place of ego, out of a place of judgment, and allow ourselves to really recognize the higher opportunities, the higher purpose of what is unfolding in our outer world. When we remove ourselves from what we might believe to be the perfect outcome to any situation, then we allow spirit to conduct its miraculous efforts in bringing us all that we desire and even greater. So once again, everyone, I thank you for sharing this time with me. I'm spiritualist, psychic, astrologer, and medium Ray Sette. I certainly extend my blessings to everyone for a wondrous, warm, and wonderful holiday season. Always remain in a place of gratitude every day. Surround yourself with love, those who certainly support you and your journey, as well as you supporting each other during these most unprecedented times of revelations and the apocalypse. So many blessings really are presented to every one of us during these what might seem to be unsettled times. So focus on those blessings. Allow Spirit to share with you its blessings, and allow yourself to receive those blessings again. So once again, I thank you for sharing this time with me. Have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful holiday season, and we will see each other very soon and again in the new year. Thank you, everyone. Many blessings.